Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Injustice 2, The Flash. This is The Flash as he appeared in the Injustice video game. I got my figure from Target, went to one store, they didn't have any on the shelf. I asked the clerk and he pulled a couple Flash out from the back. And then went to another Target and they had 3 Grodd and 3 Flash figures. Let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, got the Spawn logo here, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, The Flash. Here he's in the package, a bunch of Speed Force lightning effects, looks pretty cool. He's also got a display stand and a collector's card. One side of the box says The Flash from Injustice 2, other side of the box simply says The Flash. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits and there is a barcode in case that helps anybody. And then on the back side, here's the figure posed up in a running position. And here are a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with a few different Speed Force effects and a collector's card. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's take a look at the actual figure. So here's Flash from Injustice 2. It's sort of in the future, a darker future. I love the way the suit looks. I think they knocked it out of the park. Home run again. His face a little more serious and stern than usual. You know, Flash always has some sort of sense of humor, smiling. This guy does not look like he's that way. Lightning bolts look good on his head. The red, the eyes, it all looks very nice. Going further down, his suit is amazing. It is textured. First of all, we have the Flash symbol here and it's sculpted on a flat area of his suit. We've got sort of a fish scale type area of the suit. It really looks good. And then there's even smaller, different sculpting details. Just very nice, different textures all over it. Very impressed with what I'm looking at. The red, the gold, a little bit darker than usual Flash red. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Pretty impressed so far. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. First of all, he has a McFarlane display stand, black perfect circle, says DC at the bottom, very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. This is an image of the figure Flash running. I would have much preferred them to show the source material. As you can see, Flash in mid-flight. Backside, there is a description if you want to read that. Go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his Speed Force effects. He has 3 of them. They're made of a rubbery, bendable, transparent yellow material. One is for his leg, one is for his arm, and the thing at the top is sort of a Speed Force ball that he can throw at somebody, just like in the game. Here's Flash with a Speed Force piece attached to his leg. I think it's supposed to attach like this, because if he's running, his leg is back. I think that looks better. But if he's standing still, I do think it looks better like that. Then, holding the Speed Force accessory on his fist, I think that looks great. Did an excellent job with this. It's like he's giving a Speed Force punch. I love the way this thing works and the way it looks. And here he is holding his Speed Force burst of energy. This thing looks good, fits in his hand pretty nicely. It's got this ball at the front with a sort of stream of energy going behind it. His flat hand will fit inside there. It holds it pretty securely. It looks like he's about to throw it. Looks nice. Both these accessories, very good. Here's Flash with no Speed Force effects. And here with all the Speed Force effects. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to top here, sitting at about 7.1 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down about this far, pretty nice there. He can tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest here, increasing the range of motion. There's a bicep cut here, although it can barely move. It's hindered by the sculpt severely. double jointed elbows go all the way in. His wrist here has a ball in it. It can rotate. It's hinged as well. Ball joint his torso. Rotate around. Go forward and back. Another ball joint his waist. It can also rotate around. Go forward and back, giving him a very nice range of motion in his torso. Legs completely do splits. They go out this far. Not a ball joint, but a similar type idea. Rotation, a little better. Legs go forward about that far. Back about that much. Double jointed knees. And his ankles here, similar to his wrists, they have a ball in them. They go forward and back. They can rotate. They can tilt and rock. And there's toe articulation. Here's Flash running through the streets of Central City. Flash is running as fast as he can. He's trying to get to his enemy, Gorilla Grodd. He runs all the way out of the city into the jungle. Here's Gorilla Grodd in a jungle-type setting, a setting he's very comfortable in, being a gorilla. And Gorilla Grodd here is just beating on his chest. He's establishing dominance over everyone else here. No one is willing to accept his challenge. And Flash decides to accept the challenge against everyone's favorite telepath. Flash hits Grodd with a Speed Force punch. Of course, that's not enough to take down tough Grodd, so Flash decides to send a ball of Speed Force energy and hit Grodd with it. And that's a direct hit there, and it's enough to knock Grodd straight on his ass. But that's not enough to take out Grodd. Grodd gets right back up and starts pummeling the Flash. And too bad for Flash, Grodd has got the upper hand. Flash's only option is to get the hell out of there. And before Grodd even realized it, the Flash is gone and he's pummeling the ground. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's Flash next to Gorilla Grodd. These two figures make up this wave. McFarlane doesn't always release traditional waves. With the video game figures, they've been releasing them 2 at a time. Gorilla Grodd and Flash are part of the third assortment of video game figures, and they're the only Injustice figures so far. Here they are next to the second assortment of video game figures. We have Arkham Origins Deathstroke and Arkham Knight Batman. Then, next to the figures from the first video game assortment, Arkham Asylum Joker and Arkham Asylum Batman. Here are all the video game figures McFarlane has made so far. It's basically waves 1 through 3 and a bunch of different paint variants. I hope they continue to make these video game figures. I would love to see an Injustice Batman, and I would love if they would continue working on their Arkham figures. And I don't just mean paint variants, I mean some new characters from the Arkham franchise. Here's his Injustice Flash, next to McFarlane's Rebirth Flash. We have both the standard head and the angry head. And here he is, next to the Red Death figure, both the standard version and the gold version. These are both Barry Allen's body, but the standard version has evil Bruce Wayne in control, and the gold one has Barry Allen back in control. And here are all the different Speed Force figures McFarlane has made so far. And here he is, with my entire collection of McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Including all the variants, I have a total of 71 figures and 2 vehicles, and I'm not even fully caught up. Still trying to find the Platinum Silver variant of Grodd, and the basic version of the Batman Beyond figure. Now let's check him out next to some other Injustice figures. Here he is next to Gorilla Grodd. And here he is next to a Storm Collectibles Bane figure. Then, next to some Mattel Injustice figures. And here, next to some SH Figure Arts Injustice figures. And here's my entire Injustice collection. In the past, I only got the Batman-related characters, as my collection is predominantly Batman-related, but I'm all in with this DC Multiverse line. Now let's check him out next to some other Flash figures. Here he is with all the McFarlane DC Multiverse Flash figures. And here he is next to my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Flash figures. Then, next to a Noble Toys bendy figure of the Flash. And here, next to all of my Mattel Flash figures. And here's my entire Flash collection. Here he is next to a Mattel Kid Flash. Then, next to a DC Direct Kid Flash. And here, next to a couple of Zoom figures. Then, next to a Mattel Reverse Flash. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, he's a 7-inch scale. I'll start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect and work my way smaller. Here he is, next to some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale, all from different various video game properties. Then, next to some more McFarlane figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very nice figure. I personally prefer the Rebirth Flash figure to this, as I prefer comic figures in general, but this is a very nice Flash figure. He looks great. I really like the suit. There are 3 different levels of texturing on there, and they did a great job with that. His articulation is excellent. The bicep cut is a little rough, as the sculpt doesn't really allow it to work. His paint job and sculpt, excellent. His accessories are really cool as well. The Speed Force effects, you can do a lot of different things with them. Overall, if I were to rate this guy, I'd give him a 7.5 out of 10. Enjoying this figure more than I expected. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.